Brent and Lydia. I'm Brent.
And I'm Lydia, sorry. Out of breath.
So as you guys can see, this is a new week. And right now, we are headed to a spot that a lot of people actually asked us about. So there's one specific place that quite a few people have asked us about that we've been working with this particular store / farm for going on like 5 years.
Yeah.
And they're wonderful people. So where we're headed is actually out to Adams area. It's actually before you get to like the actual town of Adams, but technically speaking, it's still Adams.
Yeah, it's jsmeatsandmore.
Yep.
We
So
get meat in there.
yeah, we get all different kinds of meat there too. Like they're actually they're an award-winning farm, you know, with their livestock that they have. So
we're getting brats, 2 pork chops, a pound of stew meat, a pound of ground beef, a pound of mild sausage, a pound of bacon, and I think that's it.
knowing us, we might get a couple of extra things, but
Maybe. Not sure.
so things that are going on this week. Really, the biggest event that's going to take place this week is
Tomorrow?
no, it's Friday.
Oh yeah, your doctor's coming.
So
Get it, speed demon!
get it, Evil Knievel. There was a guy that was on his electric scooter just going down the road. It's not something you see out in the country very often.
Looks like it was with his grandson.
We actually live on the outskirts of town. We're still Clarksville, but we're closer to a little town by the name of Palmyra,
Yeah.
which is only a couple of miles down the road, really. So we're about 30 minutes away from pretty much everything in Clarksville, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing, you know, because I like the quietness of the country. I was kind of raised in that type of environment, small northwest town in Ohio. And generally, I want to be able to do what I want to do on my property. And our landlord is really, really cool about that. In fact, has tried to help us in a lot of different ways since we've been living in the house that we're in.
And, well, the reason I said tomorrow was a big day is because we're having guests over. We're having for the Lord's Day. And
Yeah, so there's a couple of families that actually live farther away from the church than we do. I think most people are generally around 30 minutes, but there's a couple of families that live all the way up in Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
yeah.
And Katie's, which Katie's is almost, gosh, it's like 45 minutes, I want to say, past Hopkinsville.
Yeah.
It's a neat area if you guys are interested in that area at all. It's pretty interesting up there.
Yeah.
That's where part of the Kentucky River is. So Kentucky and Tennessee River are the same river. They just change names depending on the state.
Yeah.
But yeah, like LBL is up there. If you guys are ever interested in, you know, doing some outdoor stuff, that's a good town to go to if you like outdoorsy stuff.
But these friends, they usually just stay at the church or go to friends' houses, and so we invited them over. I'm going to try to start doing that more. Because we have a fellowship meal at our church on the second and fourth Sunday of the month, and I'm going to try to invite families over that stay, you know, to our house more often, and have them a home cooked meal, so they don't have to like just eat a cold meal at the church. I can cook them a home cooked meal. Like tomorrow, we're doing a stew that my dad used to make growing up, and Brent's making an apple cobbler. So it'll be nice for fellowship. You know?
The one and only dessert that I know how to do.
So it's just nice to be able to fellowship, you know, and have a nice hot meal and relax and be among the saints, you know, because that's what the Sabbath is supposed to be about.
It is, and half the issue is is because of health reasons is why we don't do this as often as what we would like to.
Yeah, but once a month, I think we can try to manage.
I mean, we'll see. We've been close with these the families that are coming over tomorrow for quite some time now. So
yeah,
they've helped us out. Like when my bike decided that it didn't want to go after church got out. This family was one of them that absolutely stepped in and was like, "What do we need to do?" And very grateful for just the kind-hearted,
yes,
and genuine people that we have around us. Like seriously, I can't stress that enough. In most of the videos that we do. So maybe I might be able to turn on the camera and they won't be like completely like against it, just kind of introduce some of the people that we have around us. I think it'd be important for you guys to see that.
And it's just, like I said, I really enjoy fellowshipping with people and such. So, because we strive to go to the second service on the non-potluck Sundays. We like I said, strive to. It doesn't always happen, but that's what our goal is. And so this Sunday is not potluck, so hopefully we can go to the second service and partake in communion and everything, because that's what we do it at our church. It's in the evening, and it's important to do that. And as Baptists, obviously, not going to go into that to theological discussion.
At least not right now, anyway. Guys, just wait. I know this video comes out after the reaction video, but Lydia found a banger of a video for me to theologically break through, because they make some claims that I'll be honest, I can honestly tell where their theology lies by just 30-40 seconds into this particular video.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this particular group of paranormal investigators. It starts off very strange, like very abruptly, and then it just kind of starts falling apart from there. Theologically, I'm not talking about the investigation aspect.
Yeah.
In this particular one that we're going to be doing, but you guys will see that on Thursday.
But as I was saying, as y'all know, I like to work really hard to prepare the house and my mind and my soul and my spirit for the Sabbath. And part of that is cleaning the house, getting it cleaned, and chores done, like the dishwasher's unloaded, so all I can do is just put in the dirty dishes from tomorrow in there and not have to worry about cleaning. And I work hard to make prep the food ahead of time. So all I gotta do is heat it up, or even leave it in the crock pot and keep it heated, And the stew tomorrow is, like I said, a beef roast. It's basically similar to like a beef stew, but the difference is you have the potatoes and the onion and the carrots like you would in a beef stew. But this one, you also add beans and usually barley, but I don't eat barley. So
She can't eat barley.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do brown rice instead. So that's
my gosh, those things are nothing more than couches on three wheels.
Sorry.
We just. So recently, right? Like Lydia and I have been kind of going back and forth on, if we end up getting another motorcycle, like what do we want, and how are we going to use it? And she was like, "Well, is there any like bagger that you'd be willing to get?" I'm like, yes and no. And one of the ideas that we have is also like a sidecar type thing, but those aren't always the greatest things either. But she was like, well, what about the three-wheeled? Like, because she thought it was just Harley Davidson that made three-wheeled motorcycles. And said, no, Honda has the Goldwing series and three-wheels. She's like, what? No. And I'm like, yeah, and they're ugly. And she's like, how ugly? And then I showed her a picture of one, and she now just saw one. That's what we were commenting about. And it's like rolling on a sofa, guys. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm too much of a purist when it comes to motorcycles.
But anyway, that's what I'm making tomorrow, guys.
I know this conversation is going to seem really, really random. But Lydia and I don't really go into these videos like scripted. In fact, I don't think we're ever scripted.
Yeah.
Now, when we do podcasts, it's a little bit of a different story. We have to stick to a certain guideline, and essentially, make it understandable, because when you jump all over the place too much, I mean, I don't know how much you guys listen to podcasts or watch like podcasting videos, but you can lose people really, really quick. So the only time that I would say where we don't plan anything is the conversations that Cleveland and I have, because like he's been doing this for a long time. I've been, around production and stuff for a long time. So like with him, I'm kind of able to, shoot off the hip, metaphorically speaking.
Well, yeah. And, I have to record 3 separate blog posts today for the 1689.
So I hope you guys are if you're following along with the little crossover that we have between videos and our podcast. I know I said this in our last video, but I basically am producing Lydia reading the 1689 Baptist Confession.
Yeah.
And our goal with that is to, for those that don't necessarily have the time to be able to read all the time, you're able to listen to it and still profit off of it.
Yeah, and I'm not including commentary, I'm not including the verses that go with it, but in the description you can click the link where you'll find it written and the verses.
Right.
With it. I'm just trying to do it simply. I'm not saying that the verses are not important, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like...
She's just reading it verbatim as to what it says. And the one that she's using is modern English, because we actually have the original language, which is... obviously it was originally written in 1689, but...
This was the version that Charles Spurgeon used, so it was not quite the original language, but it was close. It was Spurgeon era.
I was getting to that.
Oh, okay.
So...
Sorry.
I've expressed this in a couple of videos now. I kind of did a little bit more of a deep dive into that in the last video. But what we're talking about here is the Pastor Charles Spurgeon was in fact a huge fan of the Baptist Confession. And at the time, like I said, in the mid 1800s, in my last video, it was a very strange time in history. So he realized that the confession actually went out of print for quite a long time. And so because of him and his ministry and the notoriety that he had, as far as being a fantastic preacher, he was able to actually completely revamp it and essentially reproduce it, and a lot of the 689s are actually that you see today are virtually the same one as what he had put out in the era that he had brought it back. But the modern one is obviously like more updated, speaking wise. So definitely could have done the original version.
I just felt the modern one could be more usable.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
And that's what I use, because as much as I appreciate the older language, I don't always understand it, so that's why I use the modern.
Which, guys, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But what we'd like to do with it, though, is because I'm producing it and trying to make sure that her voice is accentuated and stuff like that, what we'd like to do from there is to essentially have this produced as an audiobook for you guys' benefit, whether it's, again, just whatever benefit that you see fit for that.
Yeah.
So this is the first time that I'm producing someone else doing a project with our media company in mind.
And speaking of the blog, there's something that I have an idea that I proposed to Brent. As you know, he's mentioned that he's wanted to get into voice acting, and something that I suggested is to do a separate podcast that's not Out of Darkness podcast, but what it is historic fiction, where we create a story and it's historic fiction. And since Brent loves the Old West, I proposed something right after the Civil War about a guy going westward, and he is working on Hell on Wheels, and a story based off of that, and about the Old West and his journey, and where we where we create the story ourselves. So it's like historic fiction, but it's not a book. It's literally just a podcast where Brent acts out the characters and reads them with different voices and different accentuations. I don't know how long it's going to take us to get this produced. I don't know how long it's
It
going
might
to
take a while because we're gonna have to obviously write the stories. Now I do have a friend.
I think that's something that I think Brent would be good at. What do y'all think?
Let us know. You guys know where to do that. And I also want to do a shout out to a recent friend and something that actually happened that I think is cool. So as you guys know, the last reaction video that I did was on Mythos Paranormal, guy from the UK. And sorry, Mythos, I don't exactly know where you're at in the UK, but for the context of what I'm about to talk about, it's not really that big of a deal. But so I give credit where credit's due, and Mythos's approach to paranormal and to storytelling and to actual historical information was great. And he actually commented on the video and he's like, hey, I appreciate it. And I was like, hey, I just give credit where credit's due. You know, if you're good at something and, you know, take the time to say the correct story from the narrative that it was originally written in, I don't have an issue. So with that being said, I mean, like, I just thought it was a cool moment, you know. And so we are starting to get slowly some traction, and
I told him. You just gotta
I was doubting myself for a while. Because, like, you know, sometimes when you're doing this stuff...
Sorry, guys.
Again, I'm not lying. She's good. She's that goofy all the time, guys. Like, I'm not lying about it. And she'll be like, no, I'm not. And I'm like,
I was just trying to put my phone in my pocket.
Yeah, I know. But it was just like the noises and stuff that you make. But yeah, so thought that was a really cool moment that I wanted to share with you guys. That, you know, like we're getting traction, you know, which is nice. As far as the voiceover stuff and doing voice acting, very, very close friend of mine who I was able to talk to a couple of times this past week rather. He not only encouraged me, but he's like, hey, you know, I'm a writer. And I was like, well, yeah, I know that you've written plays and stuff like that in the past. And he's like, well, you know, when I get done with my situation, again, guys, I'm not going to explain his situation. It's a crazy situation that he's in. You know, that's something for him to explain in his own words if he so chooses. But nevertheless, he's been around the acting scene for quite some time, done a lot of plays, been on stage, and also loves to write. And we're kind of chit-chatting and kind of walking through this, and he's like, he straight up, it was like, brother, you know, I have said this to you a couple of different times that you'd be great at voice acting. And, you know, I pushed it off for a couple of years just because, you know, it's like one of those, haha, yeah, good joke. And then he's like, yeah, you know, in my situation, it's better. I would love to be able to send you to read one of my stories. And I was like, okay, cool.
American Thunder.
But yeah, so there's obviously going to be that motorcycle is very weird, but okay.
They didn't get the 2 fingers.
Nah, that's all right. It doesn't happen all the time.
No, but it should. Courtesy, man, courtesy.
But yeah, so that's definitely might turn into another thing. I still gotta talk to one of the people that I appreciate the most about doing this and how to, from his point of view, you know, how do I navigate this? Because, you know, it's kind of a big deal. But one of the stories so I had started writing a Western story a couple of years ago. I have no idea what computer it's on or where it's at.
It's not on a computer.
I think I typed it, actually.
We typed it on the typewriter, and we have it somewhere in the closet in the office.
But it was a pretty nasty, when I mean like nasty, this stuff that I was writing about.
I don't think you should use that.
No, it was, I wasn't in a dark place, but like, there's parts of the Old West that people want to reject. And I was basically talking about, in those short stories that I was writing at the time, was talking about the things that everybody blows past about the westward movement here in America. And I read like the first 2 chapters to Lydia, and she's like, this is so dark, I don't even know if you want to finish this. And I didn't, because, well, I knew nothing was really going to come of the story at the time.
Yeah.
But the idea that we have is like one of my favorite genres is actually westerns. And there's several westerns that would be really neat to, I would say, like have a narration to it.
Yeah.
And because I've done cowboy action shooting in the past, because I'm a bit of a historian in that general time frame here in America, and a little bit in Europe. I don't know as much about what was going on in Europe at the time. But that's the reason why Lydia kind of wants me to do like these short stories. And she's, shared her interest in helping me write a few short stories. And part of voice acting is having demos and like reading stories and stuff like that, and trying to use your voice to paint a picture. I didn't realize how much I was going to enjoy doing these types of things. Obviously, we've had our podcast for going on a year and a couple of months, which is it's mind-blowing. We started it technically last year in around November. Did all the research and recorded a couple of different videos, or not videos, but a couple of different recordings back to back, which was able to kind of like put me ahead. And then, with my condition and what Lydia's been going through, there's no way for me to be able to do daily podcasts or even sometimes weekly podcasts. So we decided to do like the big stories and the big series once a month. So yeah, like that's a little bit of an explanation with that, but yeah. Tentatively, I'm hoping to get into that, but
I have an idea. Since we're going late, we can save the fajitas for dinner tomorrow night from church, so it's easy, and I'll just order as a public sub.
Okay. Are you talking about dinner?
Lunch, because we haven't eaten lunch yet.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Got it.
And then dinner will be the fajitas and whatever else we can find in the fridge.
Got it. That's fine.
Okay, so what do you want? I got what I usually get.
Just get my usual.
The Publix chicken tender sub?
Yeah. With bacon and stuff on it, I guess.
Oh, okay. I usually don't put bacon on it.
Oh, well, that's fine. It doesn't matter. But yeah, so, all that said.
Sorry, guys. I know that was random.
No, yeah. Again, like, this is how we actually are. Like, there's no here to see us, out in the public versus, like, how we are on our YouTube channel. Where exactly what you see is what you get from us. But yeah, I'm just, I'm trying to broaden my horizons a little bit. And Lydia's obviously trying to broaden hers. Yeah, just to see where all of this stuff goes. But with that being said, we are about a little over halfway there. So, I don't know if Lydia wants to record inside of there, and have the family introduce themselves and...
No, not today. Is
that's
that
fine.
okay?
Yeah, that's fine. But after we're done here, Lydia's obviously going to make a stop. If you're wondering what the best subs are, I don't care what anybody says. Publix has the best subs, okay? So, I'm going to need you to get all the way off my back on this whole argument, okay? But yeah, outside of like, there's a restaurant close by that we go to from time to time. It's called Camacho's. They have probably some of the most authentic Chicago-style food. And what I mean by Chicago-style food, I mean like Chicago-style hot dogs. They have certain brats that are kind of famous in Chicago. And they obviously make the Chicago-style pizzas, in amongst other styles as well.
Yeah.
That would be like my favorite restaurant sub. But if you're talking about like the overall best sub, it's Publix.
Oh yeah.
I can attest to that because I lived in Florida for 6 years, and that was like one of our go-to places. Like when we didn't feel like going anywhere else.
Next to Waffle and Mike's.
Yeah, which if I ever get a chance to go back down there, which may be sooner than later. I mean, I don't know. It kind of depends on my friend's situation, really. But yeah, if I'm able to go down there, I'll share that restaurant with you guys. Cause like
we're gonna go pumpkin picking soon.
Yeah, we are. I think next weekend we're going pumpkin picking, which we're actually passing the place now, and they look kind of sparse in there for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I don't plan on getting, honestly, too many pumpkins. I'm not going to put any out for decoration this year. Basically, just want to get enough for me to make pumpkin pie and bread for the season.
Yeah,
so it's literally only going to probably be 3. I'm not going to lie this year. I don't feel like shooting them because I can't really shoot. I don't really feel like putting them out for decoration and have to deal with it later. So I'm literally just getting enough to...
Lydia's not one of the type of women that goes and gets the canned pumpkin. No, she makes it herself, guys. And that's just one like extra thing that she does to make it taste better, in my opinion. But...
You complimented me on cleaning the house today. You haven't done that in a while. Been a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry,
as far as anything else this week, guys, as far as Friday, we're going. If I didn't finish that statement, which I probably didn't, my brain's scattered sometimes, and today is one of those days. The reason why I said Friday is one of the things that we have going on this week is we are taking another trip to Nashville to discuss future treatment and, you know, how the progression of my condition has gotten with my neurologist.
And job follow-up this week.
And that's the other thing that I'm going to try to do. I don't feel like filming that. But I know some people that probably would, but that's not something that I really want to have a camera on for, I would say.
I don't think Monday would be a good day to vlog. I think Tuesday.
That's probably what I'll do, because I'll probably end up making the reaction video probably on Monday if I can convince myself to do so.
Yeah, you should be. And then Tuesday, follow up with the jobs. And it is important. Unfortunately, this day and age, you can't just apply somewhere. You actually have to follow up, like especially like a retail type job. You actually have to go in person and follow up to get your application flagged. Or if you happen to know the person that you need to contact, you need to email that person and be like, hey, look at, you know, you can't just assume that the algorithm is going to flag it. So that's just how it is.
Oh, and one quick thing before I shut off the camera here. So the road that we're on is, I think it's called...
Highway 76.
Is it 76?
I think so, yeah.
So this takes you directly into Adams, but guys, like if you are a motorcycle enthusiast, check this road out and like the way to Adams. Like if you're looking for like a road that's got a lot of kind of twists and turns and doesn't really go that fast, this is one of them. You got nothing but country on both sides, and it's just a beautiful drive out here, really. But with that said, we probably won't check in unless we decide to record something probably until tomorrow, just because this intro has been a little bit longer than what we were expecting to do.
That's okay.
But it's all good, you know. And again, like I know you guys heard me say this in a couple of videos, but we really do appreciate the ones that, like, when our videos are a little bit longer, the ones that'll sit and watch the whole thing. Like, thank you for doing that. So yeah, we'll see you guys probably. If we end up going somewhere else that, you know, we think that'd be cool to record, we'll turn the camera back on, but
we're probably not going to.
Probably not.
Just because we do have stuff we have to finish.
Yeah.
He has to clean the bathtub.
It's not an easy task for me, but I did tell Lydia that.
It's not an easy task for me either. But I clean everything else, so that's the negotiation. He takes the trash out and cleans the bathtub.
The reason why I struggle is very different than the reason that Lydia struggles.
I struggle because I'm short.
She's 4'11". So if you can't tell like how tall she is in the videos, she's 4'11". So it's comical sometimes. I mean, like, the only time that I ever say that it's comical is when she starts laughing about it, because I've realized over almost 12 years of marriage now that sometimes it's inappropriate to make fun of her height when she's already frustrated. As you guys can see her face right now. But it's all in love. It really is.
Not that short, jeez.
Guys, tell her that she's short. Go in the comments and be like, hashtag you're short, Lydia.
Really?
But we love you guys, and like I said, if we don't chime in later today, we will come back at you tomorrow for breakfast and potentially, you know, just having you guys possibly see our friends if you're up for it, and if they're up for it. So, check you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Alright guys, I just chimed in real quick. So we just made it to Jay's Meats and More. So if you guys are wondering what it looks like here, I just wanted to do this for those that keep asking us. So let me hop out the car real quick and I'll show you. Alright, so as you can see, it is off of 76. Okay, so this road right out here is 76, and this is their place. Hopefully you guys can read that okay. Jay's Meats and More, and it is also a feed shop as well. So this is where we get all of our meats from. So just wanted to chime in and let you guys know where we get our stuff from. So all right, catch you later. Hey y'all, we just got back, and so whoa, you okay?
Yep, scissors.
So we actually did talk to the owners of Jay's Meats and More, and we told them that they were going to be featured in a YouTube video. So we didn't film inside, but we at least showed you where it was. But Lydia, what Lydia wants to do right now is to actually show you everything that we got for the price. So without ado, here's Lydia.
Okay, we got we got 4 pork chops, 2 that are regular, 2 that are honey mustard.
Which we're actually really excited about these, because that's a new product that they have.
2 pounds of bacon, but it's jowl bacon.
Now, do you want to explain what jowl bacon is?
It's from the face of the pig, basically. The jowl area, that's why it's called jowl bacon. But the slices are wider and a little shorter, so they're good for sandwich.
And it's slightly thicker.
Yeah. Then we got beef sticks, or pork, like snack sticks, yeah.
Those are some of the best right there, guys.
We got 2 different types of broths, jalapeno cheddar, and just a regular bratwurst.
Now let me turn this light on a little bit, so hope that helps a little bit.
Then we got chorizo and mild sausage. We got a pound of stew meat, a pound of ground beef, and this was all $69. It's from a local farm, so.
So $69 for literally all of that.
Yeah, it should last us for a while.
So the question is do you think that is one of the best prices that you're going to get for meat?
I think so, considering that it's locally raised and it's organic and grass-fed, that type of thing, free range, whatever you want to call it. But yes, I think so, because normally for $40 you can get what we normally get, but we decided to get extra stuff. That's why it was a little more. But it's from a local farm, and you're not going to beat that price for local produce.
No, and the chorizo was actually my idea, because we talked about this trip, but we weren't doing YouTube at the time. It was right before I think we actually started our YouTube channel, to be completely honest. But we went down to Alabama. We spent a weekend in Birmingham. And there was this place that you guys have seen us go before, which is the Frothy Monkey, but originally we went to it down there. We didn't actually know about the ones in Nashville until we basically got back. We're like, oh, cool. But they actually have, basically it's It's biscuits and chorizo, what do you call it? Help me out here. Yeah, chorizo sausage. It's basically, it's a... My brain's not working right, guys.
Chorizo, sausage, biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy, thank you.
It's
That's what I was
biscuits and
looking
gravy made with chorizo.
And what I want to be clear about when it comes to Jay's is that we're not being sponsored by them to say any of this. This is just a local farming company, and I'll be honest, they've been through a lot with us, like some really hard times. As far as like, I broke my knee a couple of years ago, was having a hard time, and they always gave us some extra stuff during that. Just a really sweet family. But what I'm going to show you here is, if I can get it out. This is basically how we figured out about them. So, Lydia, you wanna actually help me with this real quick? So, this right here.
It just shows
Let me try
the
to
different stuff that they have.
There we go. I don't know if you guys can read that very well, but this is all the different options.
And this is not even all of them.
No, that's not even all of them. But yeah, so there's their phone number, guys. And again, we're not being sponsored by them. We're not getting paid to say any of this, but that's their phone number if you guys are interested.
Or just Google Jay's Meats.
Or just Google Jay's Meats. But yeah, they're good people, and they're a very hardworking family. And he was like running to like the other side of the building for us, and a couple of different times. I mean, like, if you say you want something specific, 9 times out of 10 they probably have it. Award-winning farm too. Like, I can't express like how good these guys are actually, and they're fellow Christians, they're fellow believers. But with all that said, we just wanted to kind of feature Jay's in this particular video because so many people, literally so many people ask us, where do you guys get your meats? So those of you out there that know what I'm talking about here with the brisket, that's it. The brisket and the pork butt. We usually have 2 times a year that we do that because it's pretty expensive. That's where we get it from. So that should clear that up, hopefully. Next time we go in there, I'll see if it'd be okay for us to do like a little interview with them. But we just got home, and as I said earlier, the best subs on the market, I don't care what anybody says, is Publix. So we're about to have Publix subs. Not gonna record it because I'm probably gonna look like a slob eating it.
Your get well thingamabobber. Hit your hedgehog.
So, do you want to explain the story real quick?
When I was in the hospital last year, Brent got me a penguin. So I got Brent a hedgehog, and it's this get well hedgehog.
So, this little guy is basically going to be with me at my desk. And anytime that I feel really, really bad or something like that, Lydia's probably going to throw this at me. Not literally, but anyways.
Metaphorically.
That being said, guys, yeah, so
Sorry.
we're still kind of cleaning and doing stuff, but we'll see you guys tomorrow. We're not trying to make this too long right now, but all right, check you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, everybody, it's Wednesday evening. This is probably one of the hardest weeks I've had in a very, very long time. This and this and this has not stopped since Sunday evening. So, I guess this is my new normal.
We're having pork chops for dinner.
Yeah, Lydia's over there. And that's what we're having. Pork, it's what's for dinner.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Showing my age right there. So mainly turn on the camera. I mean, part of it, yeah, was to give you guys an update, but it was also to show you that, well,
Do I need to cut up your pork chop? Can you do it?
I'll do it. So, eating is fun now. As you can imagine, my head goes one way, my hands go another. This hand, if I close my fist, it likes to go up. It's my left hand. Yeah, it's fun. And this one. It's fun, isn't it? I would imagine I'm probably not the most pleasant person to be around right now. We've been hearing shots all day.
Oh, we have been?
Yeah, those have all been shots. I don't know if you guys heard that in the background or not.
Everything will be okay. For the reasons I told you earlier. God does not forsake his people.
So, I don't even know if I can even work anymore, which is kind of what this conversation is. It seems like everything that I'm trying, as far as job applications are concerned, it's not all of them, but a good majority of them are coming up with no. And you know, I've had like 3 or 4 interviews, I think, but I had to come to the conclusion after having a conversation with a dear brother of mine who has been going through a lot of physical trials himself for years, actually. And I basically said to him, and I said to Lydia, and I said to a few other people, if I saw me as an employer walking through a door trying to get a job at my particular company, I'm not so sure I would consider hiring him or her, mainly because if it's this bad now, you give me a stress situation and Lord only knows what's going to happen.
Yep.
So, as I said, I think it was Saturday, I think it was, my brain's obviously I've been in a fog for days, to be completely honest. I've had a couple of good, like halfway decent moments here and there, but yesterday and today were absolutely miserable for me. And, I don't know, guys. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing.
We're building a plane as we're flying it. I just know God will not forsake us. He will never leave us. He will never forsake us, and He will take care of His children. You believe that? You believe what the Bible says? You believe all of it? You hold on to His promises with every fiber of your being, even if you're crying along the way, and it's okay. Because Jesus is King, and God is still sovereign. And those facts will never change. Because He took wretched people like you and I, and He saved us. He has us in the palm of His hands. And if He can make a bug's butt light up, how much more do you think He cares for people created in His image?
Yeah. This is why she is my wife.
Why is that?
Well, the camera's on you for one.
Pork chop is good. I'm hungry, sorry.
So we got some, as you guys saw on Saturday, we went out to Jay's and we got ourselves some pork chops, which I'm going to attempt to try to cut and eat right now, but It's probably going to be kind of funny, so I guess I'll still roll that beautiful bean footage. Like, for real, guys, like, this is, like, one of the things that I'm struggling with the most is actually eating food to the point where, like, eating's not even fun anymore. Like, I'm a big guy. I'm not a small guy, okay? I've ate a lot of food on my day already. But it's just not fun anymore.
Am I your wife because I speak true?
Well, yeah, somebody's got to keep me focused on reality sometimes. By the way, guys, like, as you could probably imagine, I have a headache, my face hurts, my right eye keeps closing and not opening up right.
Just did the Epsom salt bath help?
I mean, it took a little bit off, but nothing much. Yeah, I was just in the Epsom. I took an Epsom salt bath a little while ago to see if that would help, and it, like, that much. See the gap? See the gap? That much. So, I hope you guys are enjoying at least some of the content that we're putting out. Obviously, this video will come out after the reaction video that's going to be coming out on Thursday.
Tomorrow?
Rather, aka tomorrow. Guys, I don't have any track of days anymore. It's pretty bad, actually.
I try to keep you organized.
That video, hold on to your hats for that one. That's all I have to say. It was not a personal attack on that paranormal investigation team, but when you're inconsistent, you're inconsistent. I'm going to call you out on it.
Yep.
It doesn't matter whether you're a paranormal investigator or whether you're trying to be an occultist and trying to be smarter than what you think you are. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm going to call you out on your crap.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't checked out one of our new projects on our podcast, which is Out of Darkness Podcast, highly recommend you go check it out. I'm actually producing Lydia narrating the 689 Second London Baptist Confessional. The version that she's reading is in modern English. So, have no fear, anybody that doesn't understand like the King James Version. This is not in that type of speaking.
But I don't understand King James Version.
Lydia struggles with that. I actually don't that much, to be honest.
He's smarter than me, don't worry, guys.
No, I'm not that smart, guys.
He's smarter than me, put it that way. I'm honestly not that smart, so.
Yeah, sure. I'm married up, guys. I'm just saying. She might be 4'11", but I'm married up. She knows that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably pretty safe that I have a knife in my hand, considering,
Be careful.
There was this knife builder. I think he's still building knives because, like, he's one of those guys that's like super like expensive. As far as like his knives are cool, and I'm not sure where he was from exactly because he had like a Slovakian kind of accent.
Oh, okay.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
But he would so he used to do knife videos on YouTube. And he went from that to actually starting his own company. And his knives are pretty expensive, I'm not going to lie. I mean, they're beautiful and he uses great materials for it, but he used to end every video with, "Don't cut yourself."
That's fine.
And what do you always do after you hear that? You cut yourself. Anyways, I'm not going to bore you guys with too much of a conversation here.
My nose keeps hydrated. Does it taste good? What do you think of the pork chops?
No, they're good.
You can't really taste the honey mustard part, but it's still pretty good.
You can a little bit.
I think it's good.
Yeah, these are seasoned with honey, like a honey mustard sauce, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's very, very faint. So if you guys like honey mustard and you live in Clarksville area, go out to Jay's. You guys saw it earlier in the video.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them that we sent you. Say that you saw our video, on Adventures with Brent and Lydia, and tell them that Brent and Lydia sent you. I can't guarantee you'll get a discount, but at least they'll be able to be like, "Oh yeah, they've been customers for a long time," which we have, as you guys already probably know that after the little clips that we did. But anyways, I'm gonna let you talk to Lydia for a second, because she's already done eating and I've been talking the whole time, or trying to. So.
No, I'm good. My nose is drained into my nose thing.
Oh.
Sorry.
All right. Well, Friday's the big day, guys. It's where we go back to Nashville and see how bad this really is. And say that I'm not nervous would be lying to you. I'm nervous, yeah. And part of the reason why this week has been more difficult is, and Lydia could probably tell you more about this than what I can at this point. She's been the one that has been doing all the paperwork. But we also just found out earlier this week that my current employer no longer has any more FMLA for me.
So you still have a job as of right now?
Still have a job as of right now, but we knew it was coming, but we thought we had more time. So I'm just that much more up in the air about everything at this point. So I hope you guys the reason why I'm starting to show this more often is because I can't hide it anymore as far as my spasms and my quality of life right now. Before I could kind of hide it and play it off. But it's gotten to the point where I have had 2 phone calls this week, and both of them were for my general health, but also to see mentally how I'm doing, which has not been great, I'll be honest. Yeah, so this is my new reality, guys, as far as my health is concerned, unfortunately. I don't know how else to say it other than to just say that. I have no idea what the future is going to hold. No idea how anything is going to work out. Anyways, we'll check back in on Friday, guys. I'm not really up for more of a conversation at this point. Lydia really doesn't want to talk right now either, it seems, which is fine. But, yeah. We'll see you then. What's up, y'all? It is Friday morning. Today is the day where we're headed to Nashville for definitely not my last doctor's appointment, I'll say that. This is the first time that she's seen me in person since June, I think, somewhere around there. A lot of crazy stuff is happening in between, like the company that I work for and us, and oh, thank you. Breakfast time. I'm not going to really get into all of that right now unless it's, you know, Lydia would be able to easier explain that because she's been handling all the paperwork, but I'm not going to really get into like what's been going on in between the company and myself. But there is a possibility that I could be getting long-term disability, according to what Lydia was saying this morning.
Yeah.
It really just depends on the doctor at this point, which I'm going to straight up say it's going to be really, really hard-pressed for me to find a job, only because of the movements that I'm doing, and it seems as though it keeps happening. Like, you know, like I saw this meme the other day about, like, you know, people trying to get jobs in 2024, and about basically like how they keep getting rejection letters. That's pretty much what it feels like, guys. It's been extremely difficult to get this, but recently I was having several conversations with friends, and some that I respect a lot, actually, and I think I mentioned this in the last video briefly, but I was recommended to start possibly doing voiceover acting, or just voice acting in general, and it wasn't so funny enough. It wasn't the first time I've ever heard that. I've heard it for years, actually, from like multiple different people, from like multiple different backgrounds. So last night, I actually did my first webinar, and it was extremely interesting, extremely eye-opening, actually, as to how the business works. And I think Lydia and I realized that it's not going to be as difficult as what we first thought it would be, only because I already have all the equipment already. As you guys know, we have a podcast, and I told Lydia straight away that if I do this, I want to get professional grade equipment, you know, like broadcasting equipment. So I already have the whole setup, which is an advantage for me because that's already like a but the thing that is a part of the course that I took was actually having a voice analysis done. So basically I'm just reading a script, trying to put my own understanding to the script, like my own like the different pitches and levels of your voice and emphases on certain things. So I was given 3 scripts. It seems that the last one's going to be the best one for me, mainly because like that's naturally where my voice kind of is. So the next step after that is, once we get the voice analysis, they actually will take the time to essentially explain how the next steps are. And so the next steps would be getting professional demos done and getting a voice coach. So I won't know like how much that stuff really costs until they present it to me. But Lydia and I are very hopeful that I'm going to be able to do this. And once I get going on it, the way that it was explained, I think it's very, very doable for my condition. You know, my neck's failing me, my body's failing me, my hands are failing me, my forearms are failing me, but my voice is apparently still intact. I'm saying that completely as a joke, guys. Like, don't take that seriously. But so for ease on Lydia and I today, we aren't going to really be able to go anywhere in Nashville, so we're literally just going to the appointment and coming home. So I didn't feel it necessary for us to take the cameras with us this time, only because we're literally not going anywhere else. We kind of have a few things going on today. We got to finish up some stuff. I'm debating on so I have a friend who's doing like a camp out game thing for a couple of days at his property. He's got like 70 acres. Great dude. Might even take the cameras to that. I don't know. But we haven't decided whether or not I'm going to stay the night or not. Just because like my condition is not easy to deal with for the faint heart.
Yeah.
And I really don't feel like having people ask me every 5 minutes if I'm okay, because that happens more than what you think, actually. Even though that I love everybody, it's one of those things to where I have to kind of make a judgment call. And I'm also going to be taking my motorcycle over there, mainly because if I do end up staying the night, well, Lydia still has to have the car. I don't think that's fair to her. But anyways, just felt like giving you guys a kind of a quick update as to what's going on today and what is going on with me personally. I actually have a really, really good feeling about voice acting. Mainly because I've already kind of seasoned myself over the past year to read scripts and kind of improvise. I mean, when it's your own podcast, you can do that. You can improvise.
Yeah.
But there's a certain way to speak, especially when you're doing an interview. Like, one of the biggest mistakes that people make, okay? And this is a big issue for me. So if you're wondering why I don't really care to watch your channel if you're interviewing someone, it's probably because you're not letting the person talk. There has been times to where Cleveland and I, he has seen the weakness with me, and I'll be honest, like the last episode, he carried me in. And so I will say this, podcasts are easier with a co-host, for sure, 100%. You can feed off the other person's energy, you can, task them to do something. For example, Lord willing, this next week, we will be starting on the series Evil that we've been talking about for a couple of months now. I'm the holdup. It's not Lydia. I'm the holdup. I'll be the first to admit that. But that's going to be a really heavy series, I think, for both of us because of what's involved. So, with all that said, that's the tentative plan right now. But it's going to take some time, obviously, to get the demos done, because it's not cheap to have them professionally done, which that is a requirement for the industry, is to have professional demos and various different things. There's so many different avenues to voice acting now, it's crazy. Had no idea. I think Lydia even didn't really fully know. Because, like, you have like animation / gaming, you have doing audiobooks, you have commercials, you have narrations, you have like literally there's like probably 20 different avenues to be able to go in this industry, and it's pretty exciting for me. I've never done anything like this before, but it's becoming a necessary thing. To be able to still serve my family, it's obviously going to take a minute, to get all this stuff done, but I think it'll pay off, just because of my personality. And what's my personality like, Lydia?
Goofy, and go for broke for everything.
Speaking of which, Lydia hasn't really given you guys an update this week, has she? So I'm going to put the camera in front of her so I can start eating a little bit.
Hi. Sorry, I'm just tired. Have a lot of stuff to do, paperwork-wise, but nothing I can't handle. Yeah, I'm hungry too, so can I eat, guys, now? Please?
I snuck a bite while she was talking. But yeah, so we'll come back on after we get home.
Yeah.
And kind of give you guys a tentative update. More than likely, Lydia's going to be the one that's probably going to translate, because I'm probably going to be like, so what does that mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll give you an update. Obviously, like I said, we got some work to do, because I have some editing that I'm going to have to probably do if I end up spending the night over there, which it kind of depends on how dark it gets and how quick. I'm obviously going to prepare for that. But
you can take the car, it's fine.
No, I'm not going to do that.
I don't need it. I'm just going to stay home and make myself a pizza. I'm watching
Sure.
Grey's Anatomy, yeah.
Well, we'll figure it out, guys. But we'll check you later. We'll check in on you this afternoon.
Bye, guys.
All right, guys. It is now afternoon time, and we have returned from our trek to Nashville for my appointment. And I would say this appointment was interesting. In a lot of ways. No, sorry, we're eating Freddy's right now. That's pretty tasty.
Oh, yeah?
She got me a pumpkin pie shake.
Cool. I got myself one, too.
So I'm probably gonna have to have Lydia translate some of this stuff for me. So one of the reasons as to why I have to have Lydia with me at least in this appointment, is because Lydia's been taking a log pretty much ever since stuff started, and she pays pretty close attention to detail a good majority of the time, and kind of looks in different areas that I'm probably not looking at. So, it's still not determined necessarily. So I have a genetic test in February. That was literally the closest time that they could ever do it, which is kind of BS, in my opinion, but it is what it is. So the genetic test is going to determine whether or not I officially have dystonia. So they're still not willing to necessarily go down the dystonia road. So I got a diagnosis today, and it was easy for me to understand why the doctor gave me this diagnosis. That doesn't mean that it makes any more sense, because it doesn't. I'll be honest. And it actually makes it more difficult in a certain sense, because I was not expecting to have to go down this road. So the diagnosis is basically what they're calling functional neurological disorder. That doesn't mean that they think that it's in my head, because clearly it's not just in my head. It's more of there is something obviously underlining as to reason why my body has decided to do this, and how it's been progressively getting worse over the course of time. And basically, with a functioning neurological disorder, and Lydia, I'm going to put Lydia on here in a minute, so she can kind of help me break this down for you guys a little bit. Essentially, with a functioning neurological disorder, there's a underlying condition, okay? And that underlying condition sometimes can be stress and anxiety, sometimes it can be trauma, sometimes it can be, the possibilities are endless, literally. So Have I had trauma in my life? Yes. Has that affected my moods over the years? Yes. Do I have depression issues? Yes. Do I have anxiety issues? Yes. Do I have stress issues? Yes. All the above. And because of that, and because I have a dark past that, well, to be quite frank, it's really, really hard to talk to people about sometimes, because some of the things that have happened to me over the years, it's not easy to talk about, and it's not easy for people to relate to me, because I told the doctor this, and Lydia knows that this is true, and she can verify this herself because she's seen it happen with her own two eyes. I get one of two responses 90% of the time. I get either A, that sounds like it's a movie. Like, are you sure you're not just like thinking that your life was like a movie or something? That's one. The second one is my gosh, you lived through that? How? Those are the two responses that I generally get with my past. Now, granted, that's probably okay in some way, but it's not in others. And one of the things growing up in my family, I can't speak for anybody else. I can't speak for my sister. I can't speak for anybody else besides myself, and I won't speak for anyone else. Even though that I believe that my dad was a very good father, and he did what he could, given his understanding of life, one of the skill sets that he did not teach me personally is how to deal with emotions and how to deal generally with like trauma situations. Now, I need to be very careful as to what I'm about to say because of that, because I don't want the memory of my father to
be jaded.
Yeah, thank you, Lydia. I don't want the memory of my father to be jaded. So, one of the only thing that I knew about his upbringing, truthfully, out of the crazy stories that he said, which, trust me, he had hundreds of them, and that was one of the things that I loved about him. And I probably shouldn't have said that because I probably need to bleep that out, don't I?
Yeah. Yeah. I would.
Well, I don't know how to say it other than just saying it.
Yeah.
My dad had trauma. Let's put it that way. So I'm unfortunately probably going to have to edit that in some capacity. At any rate, so my dad did have trauma. Okay, and he didn't really deal with it. He went to counseling that I know of once, and I was sent to counseling once growing up. Now, because of that is part of the reason why I don't trust counselors, because of some of the things that happened. And it's not like it's not like anything other than that. Like she just, I'll say it this way. She was what exposed me to New Age. She exposed me to Sylvia Browne, Edgar Chayce. She exposed me to spirit cards. She exposed me to a couple of other things, and only on occasion when I saw her, which was like once a month for a period of a couple of years, she would want to talk about my dad and myself. And there was really, honestly, nothing really to talk about between my dad and myself, because he didn't want to deal with his trauma. He never taught me how to deal with mine, and that's just a fact of life. So I'm gonna turn the camera over to Lydia just so I can eat my burger real quick. Mainly, I know that's selfish, but she's been chowing down over there. And also too, like, hearing this from her perspective is probably gonna make more sense than just hearing it from my perspective. So
I don't know where you want to put it.
You called me Big Fry.
I'm good at that.
Yes. There's really not much else to say. Basically, with a functioning neurological disorder, there's a psychological component to it, and that's basically what we have to address. So yeah, we're going to basically to keep his mood in a happy-go-lucky way and such. So
Good luck with that.
yep. That's all I really gotta say. Sorry guys, I'm not feeling the best. I'm hungry.
All the more
Tired.
reason why you need to explain how you're feeling.
My gallbladder's acting up and it's making me feel miserable. So I just don't feel that well, guys. Not really sociable. I'm already peopled out. So, you have anything else to say, Brent? But am I right? It's a psychological component to it, basically?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Because you said everything. You said it right.
So, she said what I understood.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, guys, I leave every episode that we do, every video that we make, we try to remind everyone that you can't do this life alone. You really can't. And fortunately, I have a wife and I have good people around me that have been nothing but supportive, nothing but trying to build me up, and I'm very grateful and blessed to have that. But for whatever reason, if you don't have that personally, I'd highly encourage you to try to find the right people, in your life, especially if you're going through physical issues like what Lydia and I are going through. And it doesn't have to look the same for every single person. It just so happens that for us, it's our local church, and we would, tell you to try to find a local church, if you have the ability to be able to do so. But today was kind of an eye-opener for me. Just personally, because apparently my body is saying that I have an issue, whereas I don't feel like I do. But clearly there's underlining things that are going on with me, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm glad to have a direction, after dealing with this for the past 6 months. That doesn't mean that it's over. It's really just started, because the stuff that I'm going to have to do from here on out is not going to be easy. It's not. But with that said, guys, I just want to remind you that if you don't have anybody to talk to, if you are struggling to try to do this crazy thing we call life by yourself, please reach out to Lydia and I at least, and if you're struggling, at least we can pray for you, pray with you, we can have conversations with you. Please email us, please comment, or whatever the case is. As I said, this life is not meant to be lived alone. As much as us loners and recluse and hermits like to think that, that's the best option. It's not. I'm just saying that because that's how I am. But with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, great weekend. And Lydia and I will see you in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And it's free. It really is. You don't have to pay for anything when it comes to that. And you guys have no idea how much that means when people watch our videos and they like and they comment, and honestly, Like, it means so much to Lydia and I. It really does, because we're such a small channel. We haven't been doing this that long. Neither one of us feel like we know what we're doing. In more ways than you guys even understand. And so with all of that being said, we'll see you in the next one, guys. Like, share, and subscribe, as I said.
Bye.
All right. See you guys in the next one.